The Dodge County Sheriff's Office has linked a California inmate to a rape case that happened in 1998. 41 NBC's Jasmine Williams tells us how they used DNA to solve the case 14 years later.
A case that was cold for more than a decade. It sounds like a script for an episode of Law & Order, but this time the criminal mystery played out right here in Middle Georgia. The postmaster delivered the news. The sample had a match.
Evidence science now and 14 years ago has been a drastic change.
In December of 1998, a local woman was attacked and raped as she was walking home on Ben Giddens Road. Investigators did a massive search back then, but came up short. After sitting in a filing cabinet for 14 years, they began chasing old leads with new evidence.
The main thing was to put our hands on the case file. Being it was 14 years old, we had to go through a lot of old records.
The Dodge County Sheriff's Office received a letter stating that a California inmate's DNA matched a case in their system. California law requires some inmates to give DNA samples. Detectives hit the ground running, returned to the crime scene, interviewed witnesses, and pretty soon cracked a Dodge County cold case.
Not something that happens a lot of times in criminal cases in rural Georgia.
But the cold case isn't officially closed. It's now up to the victim and the district attorney's office to press charges.
Sometimes in cases this old, some victims, and not just with this particular case, but with other cases, they don't want to talk about it anymore. They want to let bygones be bygones, but that has a big bearing in the case.
Because sometimes new evidence means reliving old and painful wounds. No word yet on whether the victim will press charges. Sheriff Henson tells me that this is the second case in a year that's been solved with DNA evidence.